Welcome back to my channel here at the Ale MMA Chaos. As you can see on today's title, we're going to go through a quick presentation I made discussing about a problem that has been going on with the UFC recently. Now, this is no hate towards any champion. This is a recent tendency that has been going on that I'll be discussing for each athlete, and obviously this is a different era and what's going on in opportunity. However, this is what I'm talking about. UFC has a problem that champions are not defending. And there is an asterisk in that sentence because it's not all of them. But we will be discussing each champion as something that we are now struggling in 2026 to see because of the White House. Now, oh, damn it. All right. This is a list of the current title defense between each of the champion. As you could see, there is a very common denominator, except for one, Alexander Volkanovski. Tom Aspinall, currently as an undisputed champion, he has 0. We understand what happened with his situation with the eye poke, which he's getting a lot of flag and hate for some odd reason because Cyril Gane should be the one. He's the one that caused him a double eye poke. And yet he doesn't get any credit because he's going to be missing another 6 to 8 months more than likely. And he's not going to fight until probably November or December. Another year where the heavyweight is stalled, hold up, nothing's going on. And unfortunately, that's a situation here with Tom Aspinall. Alex Pereira, obviously another champion with an asterisk. He just got his belt. However, he wants to move up. And granted, out of also all these guys, he has earned that right to move up the weight class because he has defended his belt multiple times in the light heavyweight champion and unsuccessfully, but still tried to attempt to defend it at the middleweight division against Israel Adesanya. So, currently right now, light heavyweight is currently in a stalled moment because it has been a while since he's fought in. And compared to his old schedule, he was consistently defending his belt. He has a right to kind of mingle his way in, negotiate his contract, and see if he's going to move up a weight class, which is most likely he will. The third athlete, and this is the one I'm pretty going to dog on the most, Khamzat Chimaev. This video doesn't technically go directly towards him. However, because of him, the middleweight division is being stalled. Remember, the last time he fought was back in August. This is a guy who routinely, since he's gotten sick in COVID, he has only fought in once a year to 1.5 a year. That was one of the biggest problems and critiques he had that we were worried about when he was going to fight against DDP was because how active was he actually going to be? And we don't know because he hasn't fought in yet. He's been making a lot of teases about going 205, and Dana White said it best. He wants him to defend the belt before even moving up, before even challenging someone else. It actually is absurd that he thinks he has this right to just go up another weight class. This is his third time to try to fight for a belt, which he did not earn. All right. He needs to fight the belt against either Imavov or Sean Strickland. And obviously it's been since August, right? September, October, November, December, January, February. All right, this is 6 months. It's already been half a year. He's not going to fight during Ramadan, which is March and April. And then what is he going to wait till May? He hasn't presented anything. That's 9 months since he has fought in his last time gotten the belt. And if he's waiting for the White House, that will be 10 months. 10 months that you fought in and won your belt and you haven't defended it since. Well, guys, which I'll go cater towards the end of the video, have defended it by then twice already. Or at least minimum once. He is a giant problem with the middleweight not moving forward, and this idea that these champions don't have the right to defend. No, you earning the belt, now you have the right and literally a privilege to go out there and defend and make as much money as you can. Moving next, Islam Makhachev. He's an asterisk. However, obviously with Ramadan, he recently also just won his second belt. He has been pushing to fight for the White House, and he has defended the most times in the lightweight division, just got the second belt. So in his case, he kind of does get a pass. However, he is still one of those athletes that I wish would fight more often in a year. He's currently in his tail end of his career. We kind of know that because one, he's hinted he only has about 2 to 3 fights in his career left. And if he fights against whoever, maybe at the White House, then he's stuck in a situation he's going to wait for one more, which is probably going to be like in Abu Dhabi, or he's going to push to fight somewhere at hometown. I don't know. However, at this moment, the welterweight is also kind of in that weird situation because we have Ian Gary, we have Kamaru Usman, we have Carlos Prates, you have Michael Morales. 4 strong contentions. I know Kamaru Usman he hasn't won beside a Joaquin Buckley. He has lost 3 fights in a row. Still, he's a big name. He is one of the GOATs in the division. That's a big name if Islam is able to beat Kamaru Usman, to say like, hey, I've beaten the best out of the best during my time, my era. All right. And we saw how Kamaru dominated Joaquin Buckley, so he is no slouch. Moving on. Ilia Topuria. Now, Ilia Topuria is in an asterisk situation as well. And I know a lot of these things is like there's kind of excuses, and there's valid reasons why the UFC has current problems. And one, Ilia Topuria is stuck in a situation. He usually fights in January. All right, like he did last year when he beat Max Holloway. Then a couple months later, he beats Charles Oliveira. That's twice he fought in a year. That's good. All right, that's phenomenal. But because of his divorce situation, he had to put a stop into his career at this moment. Fortunately, it does look like everything is going swell and well in his life, and we're mostly likely going to see him fight at the White House. Hypothetically, if he beats Justin Gaethje, we don't know when he's going to fight next. All right, maybe in October, maybe under December. However, he still has yet to defend the lightweight belt because Justin Gaethje just got the interim, which they just fought against Patty. So, well, we'll see what happens next. Following up, Alexander Volkanovski. He actually has to defend his belt. So, moving on pretty quickly, successfully. I still think he screwed him over, gave him Diego Lopez again, which we knew how it was going to play out. But his next fight should be against the winner between Murphy and Evloev. So we'll see that happens. Peter Yan, a very interesting case. Unfortunately, Peter Yan is the type of guy to defend pretty quick and fight pretty often. The only problem is that he is injury prone. This is his second time having a big major surgery. He's going to be out for the next couple of months, and we don't know when he's going to fight. Has been confirmed already, Morale, that they're not going to plan at the White House. So we're not going to see a change of bantamweight until the end of the year. Unfortunately, because we have such big names. You know, Sean O'Malley just beat Song Yadong. Corey Sandhagen is calling out Sean O'Malley. Right? We still have a Merab trilogy to finish. And we still got Umar still in that mix. All right? High potential fights coming up. And even Mario Batista. All right? That dude is still in that level where he can literally fight for a title shot as well. So we're in that predicament with the bantamweight that Peter Yan is currently injured. Is not able to move on until he is back and healthy. Now the last one is Joshua Van. Joshua Van is currently fighting. It's been confirmed he's going to fight over there in Miami back in, I think in April, May. which one of those. I can't really remember the date, but it is in Miami. So that's a good thing. The flyweight is currently moving on. But after this, hopefully Pantoja is able to make a quick comeback and fight against Josh, or whoever is the winner between Joshua Van and Taitsuro Taira by the end of the year. However, the common denominator is that we still have yet to see any of these champions really put in a strong resume of listed defense. The only people who even defended it has been Pereira, is Eliad and Volk. The rest of the fighters still have yet to successfully even get one title defense. A different era. Now, what's the reason between all of this going on? One, and let me move my camera here. We do live in a different era. Most of these fighters understand that they have a huge leverage between their name. The UFC can't force them to have multiple fights throughout the year. Number two, social media. Social media has now garnered them the ability to make more money outside of fighting. So now they could really take their time to space out their fights, because it is a war. And I'm not saying that I wouldn't take anything easier from them. Sean O'Malley, Aljo, even Alexander Volkanovski had mentioned multiple times how much is a mental stress fighting is. Consistently fighting, it is a lot on the mind and the body. And this is something that's very difficult for a lot of people to understand, that it takes a toll on them, especially in the future life. So I completely understand that. But it's still, this is one of the reasons why you became a champ, right? Because one time, too, you also garner the hype. Big reason why Khamzat became a huge star was because of his hype, where he's from. He was a monster demolisher from the beginning of his career. He was doing so well. He fought like a record time of 10 days. We thought at that time that he was going to be 3-belt champion. Fast forward, Pereira got into business a lot, I think 2 or 3 years after him. And he got 2 belts since then. And that's how Pereira exploded. And I would say even above Khamzat, because at least Alex Pereira does come to fight. Volk, right? He was one of those guys who earned his fans. He fought often, fought the who's who, didn't back out. Multiple times in a year, he fights 2 to 3 times. Merab tried to defend his belt 4 times. He went from being one of the most hated athletes, from being a boring style, to one of the most beloved and respected fighters in the planet. The hype is built around how often you go out there and fight. The only problem, too, is that this comes with other fighters getting what's called the Dana White privilege. Paddy Pimblett is a prime example, right? Where you get a guy who did not deserve to move up 5 ranks in the top 10, top 15 in lightweight, immediately gets a title shot as an interim after beating just Michael Chandler and Bobby Green. I'm not saying that they're not, and Tony Ferguson, I forgot about that. But these guys are down in the end of their career. Paddy is a young, hungry dude. They haven't given anyone close to his age. They have literally given all the grandpas in the lightweight divisions to make an easier padded stat. Sean O'Malley is another prime example, where he also got a boosted robbed fight against Peter Yan. We understand that. It was a robbery. But he also got a boosted quick to the title shot, quick turnaround for Aljo, who only had 3 months between the fight between Henry and his fight against Sean O'Malley. Didn't give enough time to rest, recover. He had to get back in camp real quick because they gave him an ultimatum. Either you fight or they give Sean O'Malley an interim belt. And as a fighter, that gets into your head. You get emotional. You're like, man, they're going to screw me over if I don't do anything about it. So, and this is kind of where I think is going to help the UFC, the Paramount era. Paramount looks like they didn't play no games. They're really not. I mean, they already cut out Sean Strickland's mic. They went ahead and cut Almeida. Like, they know, like, hey, if you're not putting up the shows and stuff, we're going to make some strict decisions. All right. This is a $7.7 billion investment to these fighters and to this company, and they must deliver. All right. Another one I did forget to mention, it was the Zuffa, but I don't think that really applies in this moment. Now, another problem, the double champ. I love the double champ. Who doesn't, right? You are able to achieve in a strong suit that no one is very difficult to even get one division belt. Now getting two, but the problem comes down to the last ones. Like a lot of fighters, like Hamza, they're demanding this absurd thing. They could just go up and move a weight class. Sean O'Malley was also talking about that earlier, like going up and fighting 145. All right. Ilya, when he just got the belt, he was thinking about it, but they kind of had him to defend his belt against Max Holloway, which he did. Then, I mean, granted, he probably earned it more than anyone else to go up to 155. And now he's talking about going to 170 without even defending the 155. All right? These athletes think like you could just go out there, fight once, and then move up to the double champ, which unfortunately Conor McGregor did that. But you can't expect to be treated like Conor McGregor because you didn't bring in the revenue or the eyes. Even Hamza, who is a pretty star in the UFC, he doesn't bring enough pay-per-view or eyes to even contest him. Like, hey, yeah, you should go get the second belt in light heavyweight and then retire. No, you have to sit down and defend your belt. And one thing too, I genuinely believe that it should be a limited defense before you fight another belt above your weight class automatically to the belt. If you have to move up, that's fine. But you got to take like the Alex Bejeda route, who fought John Blachowicz for the number one contender. Didn't fought for the belt immediately. He went up and fought for the number one contender. Aljamain did the same thing. He lost the belt, but moved up. They didn't give him like a title shot. They had him literally starting at number 5. Started taking fight, and he still haven't fought for the belt. That's a former champion in bantamweight, one of the best to ever do it. Didn't give him the shot to fight the second belt yet. So my problem is that these guys, they're thinking they should just go up and get a double belt. Well, I'm like, you need to defend. You need to prove your ground. You need to run through the division to even get a chance. Islam Makhachev did this really well. All right. He is a good example. All right. Volk, when he went up to 155, tried it, failed, but guess what? He ran through the division. Izzy as well. Tried it, failed, but guess what? He ran through the division. Alex Bejeda went up. All right. He did what he did at middleweight. He fought for a number one contender. Then he defended his belt multiple times. He has the right to go to the heavyweight division. Got his belt back. He's literally beaten everybody in the top 5 beside Oberg, but no one wants to see an Oberg versus Alex Bejeda. You will know Alex is just going to knock him out. The solution. There is a good solution about all of this. And these are two fighters that are examples of this solution. You have to run through division. You need to be a phenomenal champ. Then undoubtedly, the UFC cannot stop you from getting to that second belt rightfully. Pantoja, before he dislocated his elbow, everybody said that if he would have beaten Joshua Van, he should move up because there's absolutely nobody else in that division for him. Merab, if he would have beaten Peter Yan the second time, he had the right, which obviously he would say he'll never want to fight against Volk or Topuria at 145, but you had the right because you beaten everybody. All right. The solution of all of this is that you need to be a guy who understands your position, your privilege to consistently fight 2 times out of the year. Give these contenders the opportunity to fight for their dream, not hold up the division. You want to be a double champ. You want to be a successful champion, makes a lot of money, become a UFC star, whatever. You got to be active. You can't just sit out, all right? That's not the way you do it. These guys are two prime example of guys who's consistently putting in the work. Now, I want to say thank you for taking this time watching this video. This is not like a huge rant. It's just something I wanted to take my time and really discuss about the current problems of the UFC champions. But I will be making a Friday Fight Night news about things that are coming up soon. I'm pretty excited for that as well. But thank you. Have a phenomenal day. Have fun. And I'll see y'all